What's going on, Internet? I'm Christopher Peterson, and you're listening to a special E3 wrap-up. I'm hanging out with Brooks,
Hey.
Joe,
Greetings.
and making his debut, Oreo Faye.
Hi.
Hey, so what's your background in gaming, and why are you here today?
I'm here because I like to talk about video games.
That's fair. That's why we're all here. If this is your first time tuning in, you're in for a treat. If you're coming back, each week, or in this case every day, members of the gaming community get together to talk about the top headlines. And it's E3 week, so all the headlines are going to be coming straight from E3. We're going to go through, today is June 15th, we're going to go through the press conferences. We're going to go in chronological order. So starting with Xbox One, we might not cover everything line by line, but Oreo Faye, what was your favorite thing from the Microsoft press conference?
I like the Recore. It looked interesting. I have to see more of that, though.
Yeah, I try not to get too excited about CG trailers, but when I saw KJ Inafune's name and then the trailer for Recore, I was immediately hooked. I'm interested in this game. I have a soft spot for dogs, so when that robotic dog died, I got a little sad. But don't worry.
Because he comes back.
He lives. He
comes back as a monkey. Yeah,
so.
Perfect.
So no, Recore looked great. That's a great answer.
Also, Cuphead looked really cool, too.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of Cuphead. Like we saw a sneak peek of it last E3, not dedicated sneak peek, but during one of those indie montages. We've seen a lot from Cuphead, and I want that game to come out. You know, it looks gorgeous, it looks awesome, and a lot of fun. But I feel like we've seen it a lot, and I'm just wondering if we're getting a release window or something like that.
Yeah, so Cuphead was part of the ID at Xbox, which is kind of their indie section. Cuphead looks like it just ripped the aesthetics from Merry Melodies or Looney Tunes, that kind of era of cartoon, and it looks like it belongs in the 1930s and 40s. It looks perfect for that era and that time period. So I think it definitely has a lot of character and charm. What was your favorite thing, Joe?
So definitely my favorite. If anyone has listened to previous podcasts, just recent podcasts from Nerd XP, I was always having issues with definitive editions, mostly because I said that we could kiss backwards compatibility goodbye. So obviously, backwards compatibility coming to the Xbox One for Xbox 360 games was definitely my favorite thing for the conference. I really did not expect this, like we've been talking about how E3 now doesn't have a lot of surprises. I wasn't really sure about that, but just as the days got closer and closer to E3, we just saw everything get leaked and everything get announced just in preparation for said leaks or something or other. So I was pleasantly surprised to see something like this, and that was definitely the most exciting one. Even though I'm excited for certain definitive edition games. Like Dishonored got really announced yesterday, a definitive edition, and I'm just a sucker for that game, so I'll probably get that. But just the fact that we can finally just get on our Xboxes, hopefully soon, hopefully universally across all Xbox 360 games, the fact that they're backing backwards compatibility is a strong move, I think, on Xbox at this point. It was definitely the best thing I saw from the conference.
Yeah, did you catch all the caveats that were attached to it?
Not sure what you mean. Side note, it's not exactly. You have to get it downloaded. Over 100 titles by the fall. You mean things like that?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're doing what they can. Clearly, this console was built as a separate console, and I said it before, like Phil Spencer had said last year, yeah, backwards compatibility is still a possibility. We're still considering it. And I had made a comment to someone on the blogging community on IGN that they had predicted backwards compatibility, and I said that's a no-go. There's no way, because now definitive editions are a thing. Phil Spencer once said that they were considering it, but now they know they can make money off of it, so there's no way. This clearly shows that they want to get it to you. So yeah, there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of loopholes. Like, but you have to download the title, so it's not just throw in your disc and go. Oh, it's over 100 titles, but not all your titles. Oh, it's in the fall and stuff. But they're clearly making an effort, and I mean, it's not like they're available now, so we kind of have to hold them to it and see what happens in the future. But the fact that they announced it, it's hopefully bodes well. And it shows that they're still trying to get you to go to Xbox for, anything that they can possibly get to. So, I mean, I'm optimistic as far as the backwards compatibility goes. The fact that they're even considering it is mind-boggling. So I'm still excited. But yeah, definitely a lot of loopholes.
Yeah, no, I think you did a good job covering all those. What about you, Brooks? What was your favorite Microsoft?
Backwards compatibility. They just expanded. They just expanded the heck out of the Xbox One library when they did that.
What's your second favorite? What's your third favorite? Okay, for me, it's funny. Like, not the things that we haven't talked about. I would say the Fallout 4 mods working on Xbox One.
All right.
This is the first time we've seen anything like this. They kind of slipped it in there. But, I mean, the fact that the Windows 10 mods will work on consoles is huge. I believe this is the first time that we've ever seen the modding community have access to a console game.
It is.
Before.
It absolutely is. You're right. The only thing that's ever happened is, like, DLC coming out that are based on mods. Like Left 4 Dead had a modded campaign. Left 4 Dead 2 or something like that eventually became DLC like a year and a half after its release. We've never seen straight mods for free coming to a game on a console. So yeah, that's actually very exciting. You're right.
And I mean, Bethesda's shown a track record. I mean, they teamed up with Valve for the horribly failed pay for mod experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Bethesda's opening to working with people. Is there anything else from the Microsoft press conference that really stuck out to you guys that you'd want to call out?
I mean, I don't know. I won't talk anymore. Sorry, I've already taken the mic for a while. Like Oreo Faye, what about you? Did you anything specific that you like besides?
Does it have to be positive?
No,
No.
What stuck out to you for sure?
I thought Gears 4 looked really bland and dark.
Yeah, I heard a lot of that. Somebody posted on my Twitter feed a blank screen, and they were like, "This is what Gears 4 looks like to me."
Yeah, I definitely. I wasn't paying attention to Twitter at the moment, seeing reception. It looks like, graphically, it looks gorgeous. But I mean, the Gears franchise is always, known for really pushing whatever platform they're on. Xbox 360 specifically. But yeah, as you're just going through it, it's just there's nothing new from what we've seen. Like just a new character, I guess. I don't know if that was a new character. I'm not a Gears fan, but I mean, everything that we saw was exactly Gears. And for the new reveal for one of their biggest franchises after it going somewhat dormant for a while, especially after a not so well-received kind of spin-off or whatever it was after 3, this was kind of bland for sure. I agree.
One thing that I want to call out is that Elite controller. It got priced not at the conference, but afterwards. And if you don't know the price, you'll realize really quickly. $150.
What controller?
Yeah.
I don't know what Microsoft is thinking. It was kind of awkward to me for them to come out with this Elite controller, the second year of their life cycle. They've already thrown out Kinect. I mean, they're so far from where they were beforehand. I don't know who the target audience. I mean, I guess elite players.
Yeah, it's pro players for sure. I mean, pro players have always been for the Xbox controller. Pro players now definitely love the Xbox One controller. At least most of them do. But I mean, that is a staggering price, especially considering the base price of normal controllers, which stands normally around like $60 to $80. So that's absolutely ridiculous. It's an awesome looking controller. The features that they're throwing at it definitely look amazing. but I mean, there's no way that enough people are going to be interested in buying it after that. Like, I looked at it and I thought it was awesome. I would have thrown possibly $100 at it because, the Mad Catz Pro controller, the Pro Circuit controller that was around for the Xbox 360 time and PlayStation 3 era looked awesome, had the same sort of things, like you could swap out certain components like the analog sticks and things, but that was $100, and that was a little too steep for me, especially since I'm not a pro gamer. So that's just a little crazy in my mind for sure, and I'm sure for everyone.
Yeah, Brooks, is there anything else from the conference that you'd want to call out?
That's a negative.
Joe, mic's all yours.
No thanks, I'm good.
A couple other things that I'll call out just to your guys' opinion. Rare, the Rare collection, 30 for 30, great price. It's good. When they first announced it, I was like, I can't believe this is what Rare's coming out with. But then they did end up eventually announcing Sea of Thieves, a new pirate game. I'm not excited for it. I mean, for people who are, that's great. People who love Rare. I don't think that company doesn't exist anymore. Or it does. It's called Playtonic now. But I don't know. I saw a lot of positive reception for that. And the other thing, Microsoft HoloLens.
Mm-hmm.
It looked amazing on that stage presentation. I don't believe for a second that's what HoloLens would actually be like if I had it in my home right now. That just seems so far-fetched, so sci-fi. I believe that it can be there eventually. I just don't have a lot of confidence with these tech demos that that's actually how it would work right this second. And if you don't know, Microsoft HoloLens was specifically around Minecraft, and somebody put it on, and they kind of had this camera to simulate his experience, and he had the Minecraft world on a table, and he would give voice commands, and it would move around, and it would go subterranean and switch the view, and like he could call lightning bolts and see the entire grid and see another playable character who was playing on a controller move around in the world and like jump up and down, and they were coordinating movements. It sounds great. If it worked exactly like that, that'd be amazing. But I just feel like we are so far from that being a reality.
I mean, the only thing I see that's severely far-fetched about it is things like voice command and the grabbing controls, like, your hand motions, like pinching and panning the game world and things like that. If HoloLens works, then it works, like if it can project, the 3D images onto the real world surfaces the way that they project it to, and it seems to, because they have they've invested severely amounts of money, the way it seems, into those cameras that allow it to be displayed for people. That's ridiculous. So I mean on a screen, it's not actually displayed in the on the stage. It's displayed on a screen through the camera feed. Just seeing all that, it's definitely convincing to me, especially after watching the Windows 10 announcement, where they showed a lot of stuff like that, like showing them 3D print stuff and showing the Minecraft thing in a kind of a conceptual video of HoloLens. Honestly, the only thing I could see not working very well is obviously things that haven't worked before, like Kinect and the actual pinching and panning functions. But I mean, the idea of Minecraft on a table and functioning like that, we saw it, I mean, it's not a CG trailer that they just put on a screen. It was on the table, I mean, sure, they could technically, I guess, render that beforehand, but I mean, the camera was moving. You could see it as a 3D image. I mean, I find very little to doubt about it, except just from my history of seeing things like that displayed, like really cutting-edge technology that's like from the future and sci-fi. So besides just that, my skepticism just on things like the HoloLens, I feel like this is something that could be very real very soon. And it looks exciting, and Minecraft is obviously the perfect thing for them, They haven't shown it, but you could definitely imagine yourself kind of Lego piecing all these things, instead of pinching and panning and moving around the world, just building actual things with your fingertips on your tabletop. That's clearly what they're going for. So I could see it happening, and if it does and it works, I'm excited.
Fair enough. So just in general, what was your feelings kind of from the Microsoft press conference, Oreo-Faye?
I was more impressed by the technical stuff, but like HoloLens and the backwards compatibility than I was the actual games. As far as the new stuff that was announced, because the Rare stuff that was announced didn't really do anything for me. Neither did the Gear stuff. And it was also kind of weird that they had a Gears remaster, even though they were promoting backwards compatibility.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Like they're throwing backwards compatibility out there now, but now they're kind of pulling the rug under. They're throwing a lot of people under the bus, with these definitive editions and stuff like that. So it's making for a very weird environment for these publishers and developers and things like that.
What about you, Joe? What was your thoughts on the conference overall?
I mean, I enjoyed it. While I was watching it, I had a great time, I'm not particularly excited for all the games. Personally, I'm excited for the Pirates game because I'm a sucker for Pirates. Wind Waker and Assassin's Creed, they just, you put pirates in it and I like it. So I'm excited to see it. I won't be first to the store or anything. Some of the exclusives looked really cool. And Halo, I'm an old school Halo fan. I don't have any love for 343 really, and I'll just have to wait and see what reviews are like. But I mean, it looks promising, and I like the beta. But Oreo-Faye, said, I'm definitely a fan of the more technical things. The backwards compatibility was a huge plus for me. I was shocked. So I would say overall positive.
Brooks?
I didn't think it was bad. I wasn't completely blown away, but I wasn't turned off either. I'm kind of in the middle. I was more impressed by the technical side of things than I was by the actual games.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat. I thought the press conference from a presentation standpoint was perfect. They came out, game trailer, talk about a game trailer. They never spent too much time on any one thing. It had good pace, it had good momentum.
Yeah.
The content didn't actually get me excited.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll pick up Recore if it's good, like we already said, it's a CG trailer, and Tomb Raider, and that is it from this hour and a half press conference.
Yeah.
Everything else I'll be skipping out on.
Yeah, I'll honestly, just retracking, I said it was an overall positive, but I'll say, honestly, the press conference was excellent. You're right. In retrospect, now just talking to you guys and getting some objectivity and that's now me saying, okay, maybe I'm not interested about everything, but it really was the best way to put on a conference. Xbox and Microsoft have really learned from their past mistakes. But also, just before we close on Xbox, I'm pretty excited for Tomb Raider. I think they spent too much time on the ice area, just okay, she climbed the pickaxe with ice, and we get it, and it's intense. And a lot of explosions. It doesn't seem like old school Tomb Raider, but I mean, I'm excited for the game nonetheless.
Do you think that game actually comes out November 10th, same day as Fallout, right in between God and Battlefront?
No, I don't think so. I think they'll pull a, we just need a few more weeks to work on it type thing. That's the problem though. If they delay it any further, they're risking, that. Not Black Friday, but that they have to get it, they got to get it out before Black Friday, so everyone's buying it then, so they risk that. But if they delay it only a few days or something, then it's clearly there's no denying this because.
Yeah, I think that they'll move if you're not. If you're not Call of Duty or what else is really coming out, I mean, you have to move from Fallout. That game is going to absorb people's lives.
Yeah, for sure. I will not be playing anything besides Fallout for possibly years. I may not even talk to you people because Fallout looks amazing.
That good.
All right, moving on, as Joe said, to EA. Oreo-Faye, did you have a chance to watch the EA press conference?
I did. It was very very laggy though, so I missed some stuff.
You probably didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, really. What was your probably favorite announcement from EA?
I just like the Battlefront stuff they showed.
I'm gonna be a huge contrarian. I think that and I probably shouldn't jump in, but like, I didn't like Battlefront. It looks slow.
Oh, what do you mean slow, specifically?
Like, I just felt like when they showed it, like the character was just kind of walking around, not really anything shooting at him. He wasn't really shooting anything. And then they showed a TIE fighter that was just kind of flying in the air, nothing else really to do except turn around, and there just seemed like a lot of dead moments.
I think we saw two different conferences because that's madness. I mean, there was always the shooting. There was like, oh, there's nothing much to do except dodge the freaking TIE fighter and watch out for the guy shooting you and explosions. I thought that was the most action-packed thing I've ever seen. Like maybe I was paying more attention to what was around whatever character they were on, but I mean, there was stuff happening everywhere. It looked so action-packed. I mean, maybe the character itself, that whichever one, because they switched between many characters, going back and forth between the Empire and the Republic. Not the Republic, sorry, the Rebellion. But I mean, everything around whatever character you were zoomed in on was madness, and I loved it. I was a fan of the Battlefront for sure. I mean, I was highly anticipating it as much as everyone else, but I was definitely a big fan.
What'd you love about it, Oreo Faye?
Star Wars. I mean, I was already interested in it before, and a lot would have had to gone wrong for me to have lost interest, and it's more Star Wars, and I'm interested in playing it when it comes out.
Yeah, it's the thing. Like, we didn't see anything of it, and I was ready to love it because, I wanted a great Star Wars game,
Did you guys I don't know why this bothered me. When the heroes came out and they showed Darth Vader and they showed Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, no.
And
Luke
Skywalker was green lightsaber and black garb.
Yeah, no, and using the Force.
No,
totally wrong. Agreed. I'm thinking, like, there's a lot of anti-canon stuff happening with this game. Like, there were AATs on Endor, and like that wasn't a thing. That's like because there were, I don't know. I assumed because there were too many trees and a walker couldn't get around that area, but that was in the first trailer we saw, like cinematic-esque. And then this, like, Luke could not do the force push to three guys by the battle at Hoth, he had to focus everything on him to just pick up the lightsaber before the snow beast killed him. So like there was no way he was force pushing mad stormtroopers. He was wearing the wrong clothes. I agree entirely. It was madness.
So Star Wars sounds like it'd be your vote for the same Joe. Brooks, you said you didn't watch the EA.
I couldn't. A little bit of maintenance at home. I had to work on some things.
Definitely understand. So Star Wars. The other thing that you missed, worth noting for me, was Mass Effect.
Oh yeah.
Terrible subtext name. Andromeda.
Yeah.
Andromeda.
Fall 2016, which we all know means spring 2017. Another CG trailer, but it's Mass Effect. It looks great. So I mean, we'll see what happens. The scuttlebutt is that it is a story parallel to Shepard's. So it's during that Mass Effect 1, 2, 3 era, but just not the Shepard story.
So I'm just confused. I only played 2. I started playing 1, but I just fell off because it was retrospectively I played 2 as my first Mass Effect game. The N7 symbol, that's directly connected to Normandy, or is that connected to Shepard? Like, what is N7 referencing specifically?
It's like a class of soldier in the U.S. Navy Alliance.
Okay, so way more general, not like this is Shepard and Shepard is N7.
Yeah, like when you if you play Mass Effect 3, there's a multiplayer mode and there's a bunch of generic characters, and there are like N7 sniper, N7 technician, N7 commando.
Okay, got it.
So
okay, my only grief with the tiny CGI trailer we got, so that was it.
The other thing I'd like to call out from EA for positive was Unravel, the game. A lot of people immediately are like, oh, it's like Epic Yarn or Yoshi's Woolly World. It's not. Like, it is, yes, the character is made out of yarn, but that is the only connection. Everything else is the real world, air quotes, video games real world. I mean, that game looked great. It's nice for EA to give the little guy some time. The developer came out and spoke, and he was so nervous. They showed a close up of his hands, and they were shaking.
They did.
And I was like, stop showing that.
But it was,
stop showing that. Go to wide
but it's
camera.
more endearing that way. You know, the people now, the more wider public now know what it means to be an indie developer. You know, like especially thanks to like Netflix movies like the Indie Game the movie. You know, everyone knows now what it means to be an indie developer. It's not always the same. You know, like it's 14 people as opposed to 2 people or 3 people. But, I mean, it's endearing to see this guy who's nervous, who has this baby of a game that, like, it's his baby and it's his passion, and he's so nervous to talk to these people and super honored and humbled. It sold me for sure, and I was that much more interested in to see what he was gonna show us, because, I mean, I'm a sucker for indie games too. I hope for those to be the more engaging experiences that come out nowadays. So I liked it, you know. I mean, it was definitely not flattering, but it was more believable than watching, I don't know, Reggie What's-His-Face from Nintendo of America, you know. Like, I enjoy that more, reality and semi-awkwardness of E3 than, like, the really polished but not so fluent execs, you know.
Is there anything else positive that we can say about the EA press conference?
No. Minions was terrible. Access was terrible. It's all in sports. What was that guy? What was the guy with the hat?
Let's. I don't want to beat up on any of these.
Mirror's Edge,
so
though.
let's just. Good point.
For sure.
What'd you like about Mirror's Edge, Oriofe?
I actually didn't see the Mirror's Edge stuff. I just saw the release date, which I don't think they'll hit. That sounds really early. I think it was like February 23rd.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Yeah, it's early
so
spring.
Mirror's Edge Catalyst is a prequel to the first Mirror's Edge, but that barely matters for the story. More first-person combat, first-person parkouring. It's Mirror's Edge. I was not a fan of the first Mirror's Edge, so I will be skipping this. But I think that for people who did love that game, you're getting your sequel, and definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Mirror's Edge. I got it for Xbox 360, and it was definitely a cool new experience that I was very much into. Wasn't into the story at all. I just kind of skipped over it because the aesthetic of the cutscenes just didn't grab me. You know, everyone says it looks like an Esurance commercial, but the idea of an open world for just roaming around and parkouring and stuff is very, very interesting, especially for a fan. Although that kind of takes away a lot of what you were supposed to do in that game. Like, you have to be familiar with the map somewhat, and you also, are there going to be quests and things like that? I'm interested to see what's next for that game, for sure.
Yeah, and then as we kind of alluded to, besides that, to be honest, most of the EA press conference was bad. I would say 45 minutes of it was dragging and terrible, and they constantly reminded you that they were going to show you Star Wars Battlefront later. And I just don't want to go into, like, nitpicking how bad it was.
Sure.
But Ubisoft. So who saw the conference or afterwards? What was your favorite part? Jump ball.
I saw the conference.
Easily South Park.
Yeah, for sure.
Why? Oriofe?
I'm a huge South Park fan. I love the show, and I love Stick of Truth. It was a hilarious game, and I love this announcement because it wasn't something I was expecting. It was completely out of the blue, and it was a nice surprise.
I'm like 99% sure that Trey Parker and Matt Stone said that they hated making Stick of Truth, not the finished product, but like the actual development time was really exhausting. So I was very surprised to see this announcement.
Yeah, so they actually addressed that at the conference. Trey and Matt came out with the Aisha Tyler, made nice jokes about the stupid microphones and stuff. And then Aisha said like, so yeah, we very interview-esque, she was like, so I'm pretty sure I remember you guys swore off video games after Stick of Truth, and they said, yeah, well, we totally weren't gonna do it because it was a nightmare, but then we realized after we finished, hey, now we know how to make a great game, so let's do another one. So basically, they swore off it because it was a terrible, hard experience, but I mean, then they made millions of dollars, and it was a fun experience apparently. So I wasn't super surprised. I thought something was gonna happen with South Park. I was super surprised for sure that Trey and Matt are like full in on it. So that was definitely the best part of the conference. I agree.
Other things in the conference, For Honor, a new IP was announced. It's a medieval sword and like combat Viking type game. It looks very Assassin's Creed-ish to me in its combat, just almost like a little bit more complicated. And one of the trailers I saw, they were talking about how you can use the right analog stick to be in the left, right, or up position. Most of the combat seemed to be kind of one-on-one. So that's a game.
Sure I would disagree with you just slightly because, I mean, it definitely doesn't look Assassin's Creed to me. As far as the combat goes, it looks way more complex. Just like what you said with the right analog stick, having different positions and things. I mean, it's similar because Assassin's Creed is swordplay and about parrying and, attacking and dodging. But so is Bloodborne, and you wouldn't call Bloodborne and Assassin's Creed the same except they're third-person action games. So I guess I'm interested. I honestly have a bad taste in my mouth with Ubisoft just in general because of the slew of issues they had last year and just, annualization they often do. But I mean, I'm interested to see someone take swordplay into a way more intuitive and technical realm than just the Assassin's Creed or Legend of Zelda. Not that I don't dislike Legend of Zelda, just, something more complex and yeah, just in general, it seems like an interesting idea. I love the guy who was announcing it, though. He was a super badass with a beard and was all about being like, yes, fight for honor. I'm like, dude, yes, fight for honor. I'm ready. So I like that part. It was fun for sure.
Brooks, is there anything from the trailer or announcements that you caught afterwards that stuck out to you?
Nope.
Okay. What else would you like to call out, Joe?
I have no interest for most of the games that they, Assassin's Creed I will not be playing. I'm done on Assassin's Creed until I hear they're like revolutionizing something. They talked about Just Dance, I think, or something like that, and that was whatever. So honestly, not the craziest thing, but they did get me rehyped for Siege actually. That game does look great. It didn't stop looking great, but I had forgotten about it for a little bit. But most of their IPs that made a return, like Syndicate and Division especially, I've lost interest in just from overexposure to, I guess.
It's funny because I'm like that opposite. Like I'm interested in Division, but I am completely tired of the Siege.
Yeah, but that's the fair thing. Like I didn't see much of Siege, but it has been getting a lot of exposure, so that's fair for sure.
And it comes out sooner, so I mean that makes sense.
Right.
Siege comes out this fall, and Division comes out spring, bearing no delays. And Siege might be victim of the Fallout 4 announcement and might try and move away too.
Yeah, November's getting loaded. It's getting a little silly.
All right, I guess like moving on, and full disclosure, we just saw the last Sony conference most recently, so maybe that's what I want to talk about the most, or the fact that like from my perspective, we haven't seen Nintendo Square Enix. Out of day one, Sony won. Like that press conference was amazing to me. They did a good job for the most part with the pace and the rhythm, just like Xbox did, but the content spoke to me a shit ton more than the Microsoft stuff did. And they had so many announcements that if you would have asked me the day before, I would have bet money that they would not have happened.
like the Final Fantasy VII reboot.
Yeah. God.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like, I saw some rumors yesterday, and I was like, "Is this real? It can't be real. It has to be fake." Just because I don't know. I feel like again, like Square Enix has said they're not going to do it, but it's real. I will say, like my one asterisk on the Sony conference, we have no idea when like 90% of the stuff they talked about is coming out. Like almost all of this feels like 2017.
Well, they claim 2016 for some of it, but you're more than likely correct on 2017 because a lot of that stuff looked pretty early.
But just the fact that the Final Fantasy VII Remake exists, yes, completely excited. I will definitely buy that game probably day one.
Oh yeah, that one's gonna sell crazy because too many people want it.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm honestly, I was super surprised. Like when they like said now a game that people have been wanting or something or other like that. I was like, there's no way they're going for this. And then once you start seeing the aesthetic and the areas that they're showing, from that first sequence in Final Fantasy VII, I mean, everyone knew, but it's just incredible. I think though, a lot of people saw this coming from PlayStation X when they totally trolled just everyone with like, oh, Final Fantasy VII, and it's the same thing, ported over to PlayStation 4. I mean, there's no way Square Enix and or Sony didn't realize that was just like such a weird, silly move, and like I swear they were almost joking, but they clearly. But moreover, the chances were they were trying to gauge interest for that game, this late, because people had been talking about a remake since the PlayStation 2 came out.
Yep.
Like I was thinking about it, I was hoping for one, and it was, not that old at the time. Now, considering now, it didn't seem that old. So, like, it's definitely a surprise, but I think they gave us a little hint at PlayStation X. But I mean, the fact that they really actually followed through on it is amazing, for sure.
Oreo Faye, what was your favorite thing in the Sony conference?
I admittedly shed a tear when I saw Last Guardian. It's been so long.
Okay. How'd you feel about that trailer with Bird Dog and the kid running around?
For a game that it's been so long since we've seen it, it seemed like a lot of the same stuff. We didn't really see a lot of new stuff, but I'm glad they at least showed gameplay. I thought they might have actually even released it this year because it's been so long.
I agree with you. I was surprised when 2016 came out. I figured that Sony wouldn't have announced this game back on people's radars until it was 2 feet away. And they, if that meant that they had to announce it at E3 or Gamescom or PAX, then they just would have corresponded that with their release. And I agree with you along the representation, because to me that game looks a lot like Ico. It's just a boy and a monster as opposed to a boy and a girl.
Yeah, and like the fact that again, going back to 2016, just not giving us any kind of quarterly window, that like you said, I thought they would just get it ready for release and like set it out, because 10 years? Like, how long has this been? Like, it's absurd. Now the fact that it's real, it seems even more absurd. Like, the only thing, like, it seemed crazy when they kept confirming, like, yeah, we're still working it, yeah. It just seemed like a veil just to, like, we're going to announce a new game, or, oh, we can't really talk about the shitstorm that's happening at this studio, and, oh, someone died during, I don't know, like, it seemed just like a, like a feint or something or other. But the fact that it's real and it's coming out in an area that is so unspecific, just 2016, and could easily get delayed for 20 more years. I don't know. It could be anything. And it's still the same game. It's what is the story behind this game? Like, they need to come clean at some point in our lifetime. It's crazy.
I don't think they'd release it
cool.
early, though.
No. Yeah, no, there's no...
I don't think it'd be an early 2016 game.
Oh, okay. I mean, I would think so, too. I'd like to believe that. but they do have a loaded 2016.
Yeah, they already have Uncharted early, and Street Fighter V early, and Ratchet and Clank's supposed to be pretty early in the year too. So I don't know if they would put that in there.
That's a good point.
I feel like often when you don't give a quarterly window, a year ahead, like if it's the next year you're going for, it's more often than not fall of that year. Q3, Q4. So I feel like if they're saying 2016, it's going to be like Q3 of 2016.
Yeah. What did you think of? What was your favorite thing from Sony, Brooks?
Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
What was your second favorite
Second
thing?
favorite thing? Last Guardian.
What was your third favorite thing?
Third favorite thing was the news that Shenmue was the Kickstarter for it.
Yeah, good point. So let me refresh that. Shenmue announced a couple hours ago, already at across the million, 1,018,000.
Oh my God!
$2 million.
Yeah,
oh my
crazy.
God!
That game, people have been wanting that game forever, man. I mean, everybody's been wanting.
I have no idea what this game is. I was like, what? Okay. I'm sure everyone's excited. I had no idea.
So Brooks, why are people excited? Like, talk about Shenmue 1 and 2 a little bit.
Damn, that game came out, what was it, Dreamcast, I believe it was?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was Dreamcast originally.
That's how long ago it was. It's highly underrated. It's an RPG. It's very underrated.
I feel like it's almost where BioWare got their inspiration from, to be honest.
Yeah, more than likely.
Like dialogue choice
it's not
and things like that.
And just like that kind of cinematic RPG storytelling of mixing combat and I'm going to repeat myself, cinematic storytelling.
Sure.
As opposed to just, kind of turn-based combat.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's not a one-for-one. It's not like a perfect, like, oh my god, BioWare copied it. But I don't know.
I mean, it's an much older game.
The DNA's there.
Sure. That makes sense.
I'm hoping when this game comes out, they include Shenmue 1 and 2 with it. For people who've never played it,
goals, baby.
So they can actually get the entire experience.
I mean, honestly, the thing that I have no connection with this game, so what I took from just that announcement was how sincere they tried to project everything, saying like, this is not our project, but we just wanted to give them, and the reason why this is kickstarting at 1 million within the first couple hours is because it was at the Sony conference. So that is intense. They have no connection to that as long as it's being under the Kickstarter and development. Only after it's been through alpha and what have you will they start really getting their hands into this IP. So it's really interesting watching them support something like a Kickstarter at their conference as like a featured thing. It's definitely it was heartening for sure and very interesting.
I want to agree with you, but I almost feel like there has to be a backroom deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I only say that because, and I'm not like, I don't moonlight as a game developer after I'm done moonlighting as a podcaster and game journalist. But this game is PlayStation 4 and PC only.
Yeah.
And for the most part, if you're on Kickstarter, you're coming out to every console that you can.
Right.
And I mean, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One have such parity in their code and their hardware that they're very easy to code for both systems. It's not a lot of work, from what I've heard.
Right. Yeah.
And that was by design on Sony's part to get it more in line with PC. So the fact that they're cutting Xbox One out means that they want to partner with Sony, or Sony partner with them already.
Sure.
Especially when it was an Xbox and Dreamcast game.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, besides Dreamcast, what it was available on, like who was backing it. So that's interesting.
So my personal favorite, besides the stuff that we've already covered, and it was at the beginning of the conference, so people have already kind of forgotten about it for all these revivals, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, that looked cool.
So this is Guerrilla's new IP, third-person action-adventure where you're playing. It looks like a tribe of cavemen type characters, but it's actually the far-flung future where our world has crumbled and we are just humans are reduced to these nomad civilizations, and there's these, and they kind of like have a throwaway comment. They're like, nobody knows where they came from. You have these giant freaking robots replacing animals roaming the world, and you just see this girl fight one and take one down, like almost like Turok style.
Yeah.
This game spoke to me. Like, I will buy this game.
Yeah, it's amazing how intriguing and like interested I am with like a new IP. Like it's hard to capture attention and get original with new IP. You know, like For Honor, as much talk as I was saying, like it's cool the idea of a new intuitive, not hand to hand combat system. I had no interest because it was, just the same like medieval brawler that like I've seen so many games to be. Whereas this had such an intriguing story and such an interesting concept, like years later. I mean, it's something that we've visited before, but the idea Planet of the Apes type style, like years and upon years after our demise, humans are now reduced to a non-knowledgeable being that like they don't know what happened, they don't know how technology like this works and stuff like that. It's very interesting, and so that captures you, and then they show you gameplay. That was like a great way to feature some new IP at a conference. So I'm definitely hooked. I won't say I will buy this game because like Watch Dogs was super interesting and awesome first time I saw it. So I have to see it's how it comes about and when it comes out and things like that. But I mean, it definitely got me hooked.
Yeah.
What else grabbed you, Oreo Faye?
It just we've known about the premise for a while, but it was still interesting seeing it in action, and it looked really cool. Only problem I have is the girl is like way too talkative.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I honestly kind of liked it. Like that's definitely gonna tick off a lot of people. Like not a lot of people like, a chatter.
It's getting annoying after a while.
Yeah.
It could like if then I took an arrow in the knee is like what this is gonna be like. Just like hearing the same shit over and over for your 50-hour, 20-hour, whatever it is gameplay. Like playthrough. Then yeah, absolutely, it's awful. But it seemed like very, like the way they were trying to convey it, it seemed like it was very specific to what she was doing. Like, I get under him, and then she went under. It seemed interesting. I'm okay with chatter as long as it's very specific to what's occurring, and it's not, again, not exhausted. I happen to like it, but I wasn't playing the game, and it was only however many minutes. So, it's definitely fair.
What were you guys' thoughts on Call of Duty switching stages, going from Microsoft to Sony?
I mean, I have no love for Call of Duty, so, I honestly, a lot of people have been saying this was going to happen, and once you didn't see them at Xbox, it was kind of an easy bet that they were going to be there and they were going to be starting a new partnership with Sony. But I mean, I honestly, like, at that point, that was one, I had certain games that showed up. I'm like, okay, time for a bathroom break or a food break. And Call of Duty was definitely a bathroom break because I just have no love for the franchise. So that's just me.
Oreo Faye?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm not really interested in Call of Duty, but I could see why it's a big deal. Call of Duty, like it or not, is still a very big franchise, so it's nice for Sony to get this in their corner, especially when they have Star Wars too. So they got two of the biggest games of the holiday, which might help because their exclusive lineup this holiday isn't that strong.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, that was their messaging before E3 hit. They were like, yeah, we're gonna have to back third party pretty hardcore, and getting, like you said, Star Wars, Call of Duty, and Destiny for round 2 of Destiny. That's pretty fucking strong. So yeah, you're definitely right there.
Yeah, I've sunk a crap ton of hours into Destiny, but then I stopped playing in January, and I just stopped, and I haven't picked it up again. I am not going to buy another DLC pack. Like, I bought the game, I bought the season pass, so I've spent $95 on this game, and I just can't do it anymore. So the only way they'd get me back in is if that pack was free, which we know it's
no,
not.
absolutely
like,
not.
That's a ridiculous thing to say.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I mean, it looks like more Destiny. They're adding some new character classes. Fans of Destiny are obviously going to take to it. But I mean, they charge $20 a pop for those expansions. So
yeah, it's like any shooter.
Yeah,
it's that's just how they function. Call of Duty's been like that forever.
2 games want to call out from the Sony conference, kind of for the same reason. No Man's Sky, which is this explore anything procedurally generated universe. The catch is, it's not procedurally generated for you, it's procedurally generated for everybody.
Yeah.
So we're all discovering the same universe and like new planets and species and solar systems and running around. And then the other game is Dreams, which is Media Molecules, paint with a controller and claymation, weird animatronic, like puppeteer universe. They're both beautiful tech demos for different reasons. No Man's Sky is not like beautiful to look at, but just the ambition and the code behind it. And then Dreams looks great. They don't look fun to play to me though, and I don't really see what the point is, like as a game. What's that, Brooks?
Yeah.
That's the problem. They look great. It's just like
what else?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, like No Man's Sky, I feel like has suffered that for a while. Like we've been seeing demos, and yes, it's like, oh, look how big. What is? Like, what is it? We're starting to see. We saw the space combat, and we saw him shooting like rocks and stuff. And I'm seeing people tweet like, well, what's the 1-to-1? And I'm saying, you're seeing it, man. Like this is the game. Like maybe there's going to be some kind of not mining, but like gathering resources type thing. Like when he was shooting the rocks, you saw some material zooming towards the camera, so he's like collecting materials or whatever. But that's it, man. That's the game for sure. And just bring new things.
Yeah, I agree with you. That is all there is to do with it. And I think OreoFei, like, you kind of summed it up really succinctly. Like, we don't really know. Like, what's the point of this whole situation?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, though, I would say Dreams was interesting. I have all my faith in Media Molecule. And just the ideas, like, we don't know what it is, honestly. Like, we saw a cool painting program or whatever, and then we saw some really weird, I guess, demo or, like, gameplay or whatever that was. But, I mean, the guy said himself, like, yeah, it's going to take a while for it to sink in or whatever, or for them to explain it. But, I mean, I'm still interested. Like, that I would put more... That one I'm more interested and excited for than No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky looks expansive and impressive, but, again, the 1-to-1 is probably what we saw, so not exciting.
Anything else that you guys want to call out from the Sony conference?
I said they'd have a game at E3, and it wasn't there, so I want to see when that comes up this week.
Who did? Sorry?
Level 5, they made Ni no Kuni and Dark Cloud 3. They announced earlier in the year that they would have a PS4 exclusive for E3, but they didn't announce one, so I'm wondering if it shows up later, like on the floor.
Good point.
That's a great point. I missed that.
I was, just from the conference itself, I loved, I've been very interested in Firewatch. I kind of was hoping that it would come to consoles somewhere, and sure enough, PS4 was the first to jump on an indie project, and I'm really excited it's coming to PS4. I've been finding less and less reason to switch over to PC, and I'm happy for that. Like Fallout mods are coming to Xbox, Firewatch is coming to PlayStation 4. All these things are now finally coming to consoles that I could only find on PC before. So I mean, the things that speak to me at least. So Firewatch on PS4 was definitely exciting for me specifically. Just looks like a great game.
Last thing I guess two things maybe. Morpheus, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's all they needed.
I'm glad they didn't drag on with
it.
the non-game stuff like last year with Powers.
Uh-huh.
When Morpheus came on stage, you're absolutely right. I rolled my eyes and I was like, oh man, this is our Powers moment. This is our Wonder Book moment. But they did it right. They just powered through.
Not only that, they said, and it's on our floor and it's worth the wait. They clearly realized, like, yeah, there's no way of demoing a Project Morpheus game, like exclusive especially, on a stage. Like, there's no way to do it. You're not going to get through to, consumers or to people at home or what have you. So just let the people who are at E3 look at Morpheus. Let the expo environment do what it does best. That'll be the best messaging. So it was definitely smart on their part. I agree.
And I don't know the pricing, so I probably should look that up before I comment on it. But PlayStation View, the fact that they're expanding a la carte television services, this is what people have wanted forever, to break up big cable. I'm not saying PlayStation View is the answer, but it's the first chink in the armor, and that's important.
Did anyone think of Xbox One, like the original what Xbox One was going to be when they saw that?
No.
Because the Xbox One had no interest in doing. They didn't show any interest in breaking up, doing the cut the cable type thing. They were going for, connect your cable box to your Xbox and get all your media in one place. But this is still geared towards media and making PlayStation 4 your media console. Now, they talked about Spotify, that's your media console. They're talking about how Morpheus, in the 3 minutes that they were there, they're talking about how it's going to bring all sorts of players to the PlayStation 4. Like Alex from a couple weeks ago was saying, they're going to try and appeal to the 60 million people instead of like the 20 million hardcore gamers. And I think they're doing it now way more sneakily than Xbox was going for. Xbox went guns a-blazing, we're the media center, not the game console, and they failed. PS4 saw that, backtracked, cut the eye from the console, and said we're gonna, well, not at E3 obviously, but they just made the decision to do so. Said we're games first, and now they're slowly but surely becoming your media console. I think that's honestly what the TV grouping. I know I'm taking a lot from just one little thing, PlayStation View, but that's what I'm seeing right now, and I think it's going to be what PlayStation eventually becomes.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and thank you out there for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this E3 recap. Be back tomorrow for Nintendo and Square Enix. If you want to hear more from us, I'm Chris Peterson. You can follow me at Twitter at NerdEXP. I have a blog, nerdexp.com, and I also do a podcast of movies and television that airs on Tuesdays, the Nerd EXP Cinecast. If you're a regular Gamecast listener, we normally post on Thursdays, but E3 coverage will kind of take precedent for that, so we'll end up skipping this Thursday and do more of these kind of impromptu blogs after the conferences. Thank you, Oreo Faye, for your first episode. You did great. Where can people follow you or check out your work?
If you want, you could follow me on my IGN. I'm OreoFaystar. That's OreoFeststar.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
And thank you, Brooks.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for listening. I hoped that we were able to help you with your E3 IQ. Level up, friends.
Level up.